We hear it all the time, that mindset is everything. That's how people go from being undisciplined and fat to becoming disciplined with eating healthy and having a six-pack. But let's be honest, discipline can be hard. So that's why I'm making this video, because I'm going to show you 4 mindset changes that's going to make you more disciplined and be more consistent with dieting. That way you can lose some fat. That way you can eventually get a six-pack. So here's a quick overview of the 4 habits I'm going to be talking about today. Number 1, changing diet to habit. Number 2 is becoming scared of bad habits. That might sound weird, but trust me. Number 3 is relieve the cravings. And number 4, the less you see it, the less you'll do it. So if you watch to the end of this video, you will have a different mindset. I mean, of course, as long as you apply it. Applying just one of these rules is going to have you being more consistent. And the real magic happens when you start applying all 4. Just a little side note before we start. Realistically, it's impossible to never cheat on your diet. Like going your whole life without cheating once, impossible. But you will be 100 times more consistent with eating the right foods. So with that in mind, let's get to the video. How do you become more consistent with your diet? Change the word. Change the word diet to habit. The first thing I usually get asked when I got a new weight loss client is, can I have any cheat meals? And at that point, you're already creating that doomed, caged-like feeling of never being able to eat your favorite foods. So the word diet is unconsciously associating itself with something like that. At that point, you're already in a losing battle. Now, have you heard anybody say, can I revert back to my old ways, my old bad habits? Never. You have never heard anybody say that. You want to know why? It's because your habits are directly tied to you as an individual, your identity. And nobody wants their identity tied to being bad, unsuccessful, or even loser. Nobody wants to backtrack. Nobody wants to become a less successful version of themselves that they used to be or going to be. And that's why it's so powerful. Not perfect, by all means, not perfect, but a lot better, way better. The word diet screams, this isn't going to be forever. I'm going to cheat one day. But by changing the word diet to habit, you change the kind of battle that you're up against mentally. And in a war, any advantage that you have can make all of the difference. The battle changes from, how long am I going to be able to stick to this diet? To, I'm trying to make better nutritional habits because I want to become a better person, a more successful person. Now, out of those 2 ways of thinking, which one is more likely to help you succeed with your weight loss journey or health journey? Which battle mentally is going to be easier to go up against? So that's why you should change the word from diet to making better habits, because it's going to make so much of a difference. But you know what's really stopping yourself from becoming more consistent with your diet? You're not scared of unhealthy foods. You're not scared of eating unhealthy foods. You don't know the full repercussions it has by eating processed foods. And vice versa. You don't know the full benefits that you'll receive by eating healthy foods. You just don't know enough. Part of the reason that I maintain a very good diet is because I know on a very, very, very deep understanding of how food affects the body. Not only the body, but the way it affects your whole quality of life. For example, there was a point in time where I had to study my ass off about nutrition because obviously, I'm a fitness and health coach. And during that time, I wasn't as healthy as I was now with my, health habits, with nutrition. But after spending hours of studying nutrition every single day and how the processed foods is affecting my body in such a negative way and my life in a negative way, it was like a light bulb switched on and I was 10 times more consistent with my healthy eating habits. I mean, you guys know at a basic level what eating bad does to you, right? You become more overweight, you get tired more often, but that's about it. I mean, think about money. You know how important money is, right? Because it's so heavily tied to you staying alive. And that's why it causes so much fear. Even when you don't want to go to work, you go to work. Even when you don't want to get up for work because it's so early, you still manage to do it every single day. I mean, sometimes we're late to work. I mean, let's be honest, but you know what I'm saying. You do it anyway. And health is the exact same thing. The only difference is with health, you don't eat bad, you don't see the effects for 10 years. So even though they're both tied to you staying alive, that's why it's so much harder to stay consistent with health because of how long it affects you in the future. So you're not scared enough. What does that mean? Basically what it means, and what this rule is about, is you don't have enough knowledge of how health is affecting you, because if you did, like me, you would be scared shitless and you would start eating better a lot more than you're doing now. So, I mean, if I were you, I would spend 5 to 10 minutes every single day learning something about nutrition and how it affects the body, the mind, all of that. Because that's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to hold you more accountable by keeping that goal in the front of your brain at all times. And number two, it's going to start making you scared of eating processed foods, making you more consistent. Real quick, let me just list off a few things that happens when you eat processed foods. Your dopamine and serotonin levels get all messed up. Those are the things that control motivation. So think about how motivation ties into your goals in everyday life. And serotonin, your happiness, your mood, all of that. Number two is it destroys your gut. That causes brain fog. It's responsible for your immune system. You get sick more often. It affects hormonal function like testosterone and building muscle and losing fat. It affects your metabolism. Number three is going to be mitochondrial function, which is responsible for turning food that you eat into energy instead of fat. And when you're eating processed foods, it makes this dysfunctional, and that causes you to store a lot more fat from the foods you eat. And it's also going to affect sleep quality, which we all know by now. When you get bad sleep, it affects fucking everything. So the things that I just mentioned is just the surface level of how your quality of life is affected by eating processed foods. Now let's go in the opposite direction. Imagine if you ate good foods, how this would 10x your life. 10x your motivation, 10x your feelings of happiness, 10x your metabolism. And think about what kind of impact that would have on your social interactions, on the goals that you have, your confidence levels. And don't treat this lightly, like reading a book. You know, we read a book and we don't apply the knowledge that's in that book, it's useless. So if you're not taking this step seriously and you're not setting out a certain set schedule to study this kind of stuff for 5 to 10 minutes a day, you're already shooting yourself in the foot, and you should just leave this video because you're not taking this seriously. So at this point, we've learned about how to prevent yourself from eating bad. But what do you do when you have no other choice but to eat something bad? You're craving it so fucking bad. What do you do at that point? Because nobody is perfect, especially in a world where 90% of food comes from processed foods and bad foods. We see it, we smell it, we remember it. It's so hard to stay away from it. What do we do when we crave it? How do you relieve those cravings so that way you can just get back to your life and not always thinking about it 24/7? Like, I know I go to the pantry and I'm thinking about eating bad foods and I'm craving it, and then I go sit down. And then I go back to the pantry, open it up again. Should I do it? Should I do it? Go sit back down. That's annoying. So what do you do at that point? So there's going to be two ways of handling that. Number one, deal with it. Sometimes you just have to deal with it. From what I've experienced, the only way I've grown my most is when I deal with being uncomfortable. You know, it's uncomfortable dealing with those cravings for so long. And when you just sleep it off and deal with it, that's when the growth happens. Stop being a little... So if you're trying to create those lifelong successful habits, that's the best way of doing it, is just by dealing with it. But again, it's going to get to that point when you have no other choice but to eat those cravings. So what I'm not going to tell you, especially as a fitness and health coach, is to binge out on food. There are foods out there that is going to satisfy your cravings that are either low calorie or healthy for you. So it's a win-win situation. I'm not going to tell you to eat those bad foods because, I'm not perfect, and I definitely do it from time to time, but I use craving satisfiers. I won't be able to tell you what foods are going to satisfy your cravings because we're all different, but here's a list of mine, so maybe you can try it and see if it works for you. So I'm just going to read off this list real quick, but basically the first one is going to be dates with honey. Not everyone likes dates. I like dates. I like honey. It's high in calories, but it really gets rid of those sweet cravings that I have. I have a big sweet tooth. Number two is watermelon, which is probably my favorite because it's super, super low calorie. It's healthy, and you can eat a lot of it. And I'm the type of guy that loves to binge eat, so this is great for me. You can also put some tahini on it, and that makes it taste even better, and it gets rid of some of those salty cravings. All right, my camera died, but yeah, popcorn. You can eat a lot of it. Cucumber, lemon, and tahini. Another one of my favorites. Oh my God, it's so good, guys. If you guys are craving something salty and you do not want to have any calories add to your calorie limit or target, if you're counting calories, that's the best thing you can eat. Cucumbers is like, 5 calories per cucumber or something like that. You add tahini, you add lemon. It's a nice snack. You can eat a lot of it. It's perfect for watching movies. I like to watch movies. It's a great snack. So if those don't work out for you and you're trying to find foods that satisfy your own cravings, you have to make sure it fits these two criteria. Number one, it has to be low calorie, or it has to be healthy for you. So if it's low calorie and not healthy, cool. If it's healthy but not low calorie, cool. Or you can have both and it can be healthy and low calorie, and that's always the best option. So this last mindset change that you guys should start applying might possibly be the most important one, and that is to avoid seeing it. The more you see something, the more you're going to want to do it. The less you see something, the less you're going to want to do it. And in a world like we talked about, which is filled with 90% processed foods, it's hard not to be reminded of it. Like, how many times have you drove past a burger spot, some fast food spot, and you smell it and you're like, damn, that smells so good, and instantly you go home and eat something bad. You might not even realize it, but you probably do. Or you actually go to the drive-thru and get that burger. So you can't control stuff like that, but there are things you can control, and the least you can do is get it out of your day-to-day environment. If it's at work, get rid of it in your environment. If it's in your household, get rid of all the junk, all the processed foods, all the microwavable foods, all the frozen foods that is contributing to you not being able to stay on track with your health and just your health goals. Like, let's put this in real life scenario. Like, imagine you have all of this stuff in your pantry still, in your environment, in your household. You have chips, cookies, all that stuff, and you're watching a movie, and then boom, you start to get a little bored, so you're like, damn, am I hungry or am I bored? Whatever, I'm gonna go get some chips. So all you have to do is get up, walk to the pantry, over here, walk to the pantry, get some chips, and sit your fat ass back down. Like, that's it. But now let's imagine you don't have any of those foods in your household and you're craving it and you're watching a movie because you're bored or hungry or whatever. Now you have to get up off the couch. Now you have to put on your shoes, walk to the car, drive to the store, get in line, go get the chips, get in line, come back to the house, then sit down and eat your chips. And let's imagine you eat the chips, then you feel like shit after doing it because you're like, damn, I did all of that just to get some chips. Damn, how low can I be? How low can I get? So that requires so much more work, and it's in our biology to save as much energy as we can. So sometimes, a lot of the time, we're not willing to go to that extreme to feed some of our cravings. Because at the end of the day, us surviving, which is saving more energy, is more important than just our cravings. Little biology lesson for you guys. So again, this is not perfect. You might be that person that actually gets up and goes to the store and binges out on the food. It's not perfect, but it's increasing the chances that you're going to be more consistent with it rather than not. And again, all staying consistent is winning that mental battle. And just having those little tiny advantages that you have just makes it easier for you to stay consistent. It's not perfect, but it's going to help you a lot more. And even if you do go out to the store and go through that whole process, you might do it once or twice, but imagine you have to do that every single time you crave a bad food. Eventually, you're going to get tired of it. And if you don't, here's a little bonus tip for you guys. Make it more difficult for you to get your cravings, get those chips, So here's a little bonus tip. Instead of driving to the closest store, drive to the store on the other side of your city. Make it that difficult. And if you're willing to do it, cool. Maybe you deserved it. But make it more difficult. Or walk to the store. Because at that point, you probably, depending on how far your store is, worked off those chips that you're about to eat. And who wants to walk to the store? Come on. But you have to make a promise to yourself. Like, you can't just make a promise and then, not follow through with that, or else it won't work. Obviously. Make it more difficult. And I actually learned that from the book that I just read called Atomic Habits. It goes really in depth to creating better habits and how to stick to them and all that stuff. So if you want a good book to read when it comes to building habits, so that way you can be more consistent with your diet and get fucking diced, read that book. There's another little bonus tip. So at the end of the day, this whole weight loss, fitness thing can be very confusing. What foods do you eat? How many times should you eat them? I'm inconsistent with my diet. My mentality is just so weak. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to train. I'm just so confused. If you guys are determined enough and you guys are ambitious enough to want to change, but you guys don't know how, click the link below and we'll talk about the first steps to getting on the path to achieving that dream physique, to achieving ultimate health. Or don't. I don't care. It's up to you. Deuces.